Hi, this is Wes with Still Real Game Fowl, and today I'm going to show you all how to take care of birds that's been on tie cords and they've broke them and they've gotten in a fight. Recently, actually yesterday, I got home from work and somebody had cut my tie cords on 3 of my birds, and I had a big mess. Birds beat all to pieces. One particularly was worse than the rest, and I've got him behind me, and I'm going to fix him up. I'm going to show you all how to do that. His feet aren't tore up. He wasn't one of the ones that got in a pen fight, but I'll still go over that and show you all how to doctor up their feet after they've been in a pen fight. I'm talking bones showing, toes halfway hanging off. I'm going to go over all that. I'm going to show you all how to get the birds back up and going, get the swelling down in their face, and if their eyes are sealed shut from where blood's went over them and it's caked up, I'm going to show you all how to clean that out with the bird being comfortable and happy through the whole thing. So first off, what we're going to do is you're going to get everything you're going to need. We're going to start back here. You want to get you some pedigree chicken in chunks with gravy. This right here is going to help them with their energy, their protein, and it's going to help rebuild their muscle structure and kind of calm them down a little bit, let them rehabilitate slowly with food. Another thing you're going to want is you're going to want to get some injectable penicillin. Penicillin will eat out the muscle when you inject it. So whenever you have them on a routine, like every 3 days, like 1 cc every 3 days, you always want to pick a different injection site. The skin behind the neck, left, right breast muscle, lower breast muscles, places like that, under the skin. You just always want to pick a different injection site if you're doing a routine injection with penicillin. The next thing we've got is for your butthole, Preparation H. It takes away the sting and it takes the swelling down. So this right here is what we're going to put on their face. Helps the swelling go down a little bit and it'll make them feel good. The next is Neosporin, and I don't really think there's much to tell about Neosporin. It's going to heal them up faster. It's going to help the scab. It's going to keep infection out of the cuts and scrapes. The next is VetXR. We're going to wipe this down across their nose and everything, kind of clean their nose off with it on the inside of the mouth, give them a couple drops down the throat. The next, for the feathers and to clean off all the blood around the hackle feathers and everything, we're going to use baby oil. For the feet, as always, petroleum jelly, and in this case we've got Vaseline. And what you also want to have is you also want to have some sterile brushes. These are small sterile brushes just to apply all the cream stuff that we have. And this little bottle right here is my own little mixture of, this has just got about everything that you could ever want in it. It kicks the shit out of VetX. If you've got a cut on a bird, put this on it. It numbs it, heals it, and it puts all the nutrition back into it, so it'll heal it nice and clean and fast. I can't tell y'all what's in it. Sorry, I'll sell bottles, but I'm not gonna tell you what's in them. But another thing you're gonna need is you're gonna need a knife. When you get your box cutter knife, you always want a box cutter knife. You don't want the blade to be sharp, so get a blade that's been kind of dulled down a little bit. We're not going to be cutting on the bird or anything, but this right here is just to kind of scrape off all the blood and stuff off their beak. The next thing you want is some water, clean, fresh water, and we're going to use that to clean off their face and everything. We're going to get everything nice and clean before we put any medicine or anything like that on there. So you've seen this bird before, I think. There's some pictures of him in his heyday on the website. This is my leaper Bates. He's in pretty rough shape. I posted a few days ago, my coon dog, my beloved coon dog, had got a hold of him for whatever reason. It was the first time he's ever got after a chicken. I don't know what the events were that led up to it, but he put his eye out. And then 2 days later, somebody laid him off his cord. So what we're going to do, we're going to start out, we're going to take one of your clean rags, and you're going to wrap it around your finger, and you're going to soak it in the water. And sorry if I'm a little sketchy, my hand's pretty jacked up. So we're going to pull him back, and you're just going to dampen his face just a little bit. You don't want to start rubbing on him or anything just yet. We're actually, me personally, I'm gonna put some numbing cream on him, just because I'm a little OCD about if it's hurting my birds or anything. So I'm gonna take a little bit of my special mixture here, which has lidocaine in it, and I'll take one of my sterile brushes. Come here, buddy. I'm gonna put a little bit on his head here. Make sure you get it underneath the feathers too. If it's sitting on top of the feathers, it ain't doing no good. Don't get it in their eyes. You don't want to numb their eyes. This should take effect fairly quick. We want his whole head numbed up. He's still going to pull away a little bit just as a natural reaction. Can't really do nothing about that. But he don't know that we're trying to help him. So obviously he's being a little... He don't really want me to be messing with him right now, and I don't think I would want anybody to be messing with me if I was this beat up. Another thing is, I'm not going to give him any antibiotics, any penicillin, because I've already given it to him today. Just decided to do this video kind of last minute. He's already got medicine and stuff on his head, but we still need to clean him up a little bit more. So we're going to take a little bit of water in our hand after we get that. And we're going to wet his beak where that dried blood is. And that's just going to loosen it up a little bit. We're going to take our knife. And we're just going to flake it off. Yeah, I got under it then. Come here, buddy. It's alright. It's really good to have an extra set of hands when you're doing this. I might have to get to the clippers. Oh, no. He actually chipped his beak just a little bit, but it's not enough to actually have to fix. It'll fix itself. Easy, baby. I'm starting to get a little frustrated now. There we go. And the whole purpose of this is getting it away from their nose. If you can get it away from their nose, it's going to help them breathe. Because if it's been a bad tie cord fight, the chances are they've got blood caked up in their nose and they can't breathe too good. You can actually hear him when he exhales. It sounds like he's got a runny nose. And we don't like that. So I haven't really got a chance to look him over real good yet. but we're going to get as much of this off from around the nose and off the beak as we can. And to make matters worse, he was just trimmed a few days before this happened. So if you have a bird that's just been trimmed, you're going to have some infection set in on the trimming spots. You can do that. You can take that infection off. Get a close up of that right there. You can take the infection off just by taking the side of the knife and raking it across the top. You don't want to take no skin off. You just want to kind of get the infection off of it. Okay, cut it awesome. Okay, so we stopped the video for just a minute so I could get a little bit of help holding him while I cleaned him up. All I did was I wiped his neck down a little bit with some water and got as much of the dried blood off as I could. We hadn't put any medicine or anything on him. All I did was clean up, and I had to cut the scab open that was on his eye. He actually had a lot of swelling in there. I think he has lost his eye. I won't really know until the swelling goes completely down, which should be about 3 or 4 days. But to speed up the process, what we're going to do is we're going to mix up my favorite little thing, and what that is that's going to be Preparation H and Neosporin. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get me a little tray. Oh, that works. I'm just going to use a little chick water. We're going to put a good deal of Preparation H down, and then we're going to put just a bit of Neosporin in there. You want it about 3/4 Preparation H and 1/4 of Neosporin. And we're going to take our other sterile brush, we're going to take the back end of it, we're going to mix this up real good. And we're going to put us a little bit on that. Now I put a wet rag over his head to cool him down. He was getting kind of hot and starting to fall asleep on me. So I put a wet rag over his head to keep him from getting too hot. That's very important. Don't let your roosters get too hot when they're hurt like this. You don't want to let them bill up. You don't want to, oh, let's see if he's game. No, it's a bad idea. They get hot, they get even more sick, infection sets in even more, and it can spread. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our little mixture and we're going to put a not a real thick coat, but it's going to be a fair amount on all the cuts and all the swollen parts on his face. And particularly on him, it's going to be over this right eye. He's got a lot of swelling back here, and this Preparation H will kind of ease the pain a little bit and help him get back to 100%. And on him, I got to put a little bit on his chin because he had just been trimmed, and we don't want infection to get in there And you want to kind of be, if you just trimmed your birds and this has happened, you want to be fairly generous with it on those areas. You alright, buddy? You okay? Always give me the look. I'm gonna put a little bit on his chin here. Stop. Alright, so that's all we need to do for his face. We're going to let that sit on there, and hopefully he won't shake it off or anything. We've got to do the feet next. Normally after you have a tie cord fight or a pin fight, the spurs are going to be really loose. Even if they were set, they're going to be loose. You might have a couple of them missing. Him, in his case, his left spur is very loose. His right spur is still set. It's fine. So what we're going to do, we're just going to do a little bit of leg care. We're going to put a little bit of baby oil on both of his feet. This will make him feel good. We're going to knock off all that crap that he got on there from the pin fight. And then what you're going to do is take you a little bit of your petroleum jelly. We're going to go down his leg here. Make sure you get it on the spur real good and twist the spur a little bit. Just run it around it, kind of knock off all the nasty on it. And we're going to do the same thing with this one, but we're going to be a little bit easier on it because it's still loose and we don't want him to lose his spur. Alright. So after we get that done, I'm going to do this real quick. If you have a rooster that's gotten in a pen fight and their toes are cut right here, which is a very likely scenario, if it's down to the bone, it's not entirely, you're not going to lose your whole rooster's foot. You're not going to lose their toe. Don't cut it off, say, oh, well, it's going to die, because it's probably not going to die. Take you some Neosporin, put in there, take you some petroleum jelly, cake over top of it, and put them back in the pen. Preferably a very dry pen. That way the dirt will get on top of the Neosporin and on the petroleum jelly, and it'll make a band-aid, so to speak. And that Neosporin will sit there and work, and it'll cause it to scab up by the next day. So that's what you want. Once there's a scab there, let that bird take as much time as he needs to do his thing and to heal up and do all that. So what we're going to do next, we're going to take a little bit of that XR. We're going to make sure we get off all the crap we've got on our hands, because you don't want to get baby oil on their face. Get baby oil on their face, cold weather, warm weather, their face is going to start to peel. You don't want their face to peel, especially when they're hurt. So once we get all that off, we're going to take just a little bit of Edex. Come here, bud. And we're going to put it right here on the beak. And what that'll do is that'll rebuild the enamel in the beak, make it a little bit stronger than it is. And as you can see, he's starting to feel better already. He's starting to want to walk around and jump and play. So then what we're going to do, after we've done that, all that's good and dandy. The face is set up. You want to do that every 3 days or 4 days until their face is completely, the swelling's gone down. Just monitor them and keep them, you know, just kind of keep track of them and make sure that they're not getting sicker, because then you're going to have to up your dosage of antibiotics. All I'm doing right now is I'm putting baby oil on his feathers to help his feathers reattach to each other, reattach the hairs. This right here is just for looks. He don't want to look ugly for the girls, just like nobody wants to look ugly for the girls. Everybody's starting to breed now, and this old boy right here looked the roughest on the yard, and he's the only one that didn't get him any today. So we're going to shine him up a little bit, make him look nice and pretty. Come here, bud. And this baby oil will strip this blood off pretty easy too. As I don't know if you can see that, but I've got little black dry dots on my hand from the blood, and we wiped him down pretty good when we had to cut the video. Just get it on there real good, and it'll break it up. The feathers will reattach themselves after a few days. I'm just checking his wing band, make sure it's still fine. And we're done. And we'll do this again in a few days and keep following up with him. Till then, he is going to be on a pedigree diet. You can pick this stuff up for 79 cents at Food Line, Kroger's, Walmart. It's really cheap, and this stuff, right, they love this stuff. He'll be on this for the next few days. All you want to do is get you a little feed box. Put you about that much in there. You don't want too much. You don't want to overload him on protein. Hey bud, come here. Here. He's more interested in my cameraman right now. Hey. Okay. Well, we're going to put him in the keep box, and we're going to let him eat, let him fill his belly up. This is soft. This stuff right here is extremely soft. It'll build up their beaks. It'll be easy on their beaks until they can get back to 100%. You don't want them pecking on the ground, pecking on a hard surface. Monitor them when they're eating out of this. After they get the last piece, take it away, because they're going to sit there and they're going to keep pecking at the whole thing. And he chipped his beak a little bit on the front, and it'll have little hairline fractures all the way going back. And if he keeps pecking on stuff like this and on the ground and on rocks, picking rocks up and pulling at his tie cord and everything, that's going to cause that beak to stay sore longer. So we're going to toss him in a keep box here. And this is where he's going to stay tonight. Just like he stayed last night. You take him outside during the day, put him on a tie cord, let him walk around for a little bit. It's very important not to sit there and just leave them. You want to let them out for about 4 or 5 hours a day. Let them scratch, let them get some grass, let them do their thing, and bring them back in. Because remember, they're hurt. And just like if you're hurt, you don't want to be left outside and have people walking around you all day and bothering you. So whenever he feels comfortable enough to stick his head through the hole, he's going to come out here and eat. He's still a stag. He ain't never been on keep. He don't really get the concept of it just yet. he can still have grain, just not an excessive amount. Like I said, you want to go as easy on him as possible. If they're not going to eat, hand me a little bit of grain out there, Austin. If they're not going to eat, then you can always tempt them with a little something that they're used to. Just hand me a little cupful. Just take a little bit, just a little pinch. And then he's seen me put that in there, so he'll eat it on his own time. Leave it open, let him eat. If he doesn't eat while you're standing there, take it away, put some water there, and then come back out in a few hours, set it back out, offer it to him. If he don't want to eat, don't force him to eat. If he starts to lose weight and starts to look real rough, you can give him an egg. Eggs are great for birds that's just been in tie cord fights, pen fights. If they're in rough shape and they need some protein, eggs. Give them a raw egg. They'll eat it up in a heartbeat. It's very soft on them. They love it. So anyway, that's the gist of taking care of birds that's just been in tie cord fights, pen fights, regular fights, whatever. If they're beat up, bruised, battered, beaten down, cut open, that's going to be your standard operation for caring for them. They're just like somebody that's been beat up on the street. They're going to go to the hospital, and the hospital's going to take care of them as well as they do. They'll take care of them until they're back on their feet. He's laying down for the night. It's about time for me to go lay down. I'm going to put some fresh water in there for him. I'm going to take away his cup, cover the cup up because that stuff can sour. Cover it up when it's not in use. Cover it up and give it to him in the morning. Put some water down for him for early in the morning when he gets up before you. And that's it. So this has been Wes with Still Real Game Fowl, and I hope I helped you all out.